forward to put it in the road until we get our final permit. So hopefully by 2019 to 2020, the 241 will go on to Cow Camp Road. Then we'll continue to work on it to get it down to the I-5. Thank you.
Quick question.
Yes, go ahead, Frank.
We had a presentation. Do you want me to talk about my item at OCTA? Because we had a report at OCTA at the committee that I chair regarding the environmental mitigation for the transportation control measures. That was going to switch the mitigation from the north to the south. Did you want to report on that? Or you want me to report what came out of my committee? Because it changes a lot of the dynamic of the 241. Can you tell me about the vote and what happened?
I'm not following you.
A little context. As part of our region, we're part of the Air Quality Management District, Southern California Air Quality Management District. We have to do mitigation measures. And what's been in the major investment study and the mitigation measures for South County is the 241 extension. And last month, the TCA agency, the Foothill, changed their mitigation project from the South County to the North County. And that came before my committee at OCTA yesterday, and I just didn't know if you wanted to comment on it now or I can comment on it in my section.
You mean with the
air quality stuff?
The extension to where the carpool lane goes to the
flyover.
Yeah, that's moving forward too.
Well, okay, I'll go ahead and talk about it and what happened in my committee.
Okay.
Then we'll go into it a bit more. Okay, sorry.
Very good. So now we have Councilmember Ed Sachs, TCA, San Juan King.
Nothing to report.
And handing now from
OCTA.
Yeah.
Sorry, but I didn't know if Greg wanted to comment on it. I'm handing out a letter, so I have to give everybody the context. This has to do with our ability to finish the 241 extension. And as I mentioned before, this has always been part of the South County Transportation Plan, and there's not just the mobility part, but there's also an air quality management component. That air quality management component affects what's called SCAG, which is 6 counties down here in Southern California. I guess about a month ago at the last TCA meeting, there was a vote to change, and this gets kind of nuanced a little bit, but to change the Southern California region's mitigation for air quality, to change it from the south part of the county, south part of the 241, to the north part of the 241, which is where the 241 and the 91 will have a connector. And the reason I bring it up is it came to my committee at OCTA yesterday, and the proposal by the TCA failed. It did not get out of my committee, and I need to kind of give everybody the reasons why. There are a couple key points. The first one is, notwithstanding where people think things are, the connector between the 241 and the 91 is not approved. It is not approved. It has not even had it's called a revenue study. It hasn't had that approved. So right now, there's not even the ability to borrow money from the TCA. The TCA is the lead agency on the connector. There's not any ability to borrow any funds right now. That's the first piece. The second one is the OCTA, which has to give our permission to have it connected. We haven't voted on it either. So what happened was the toll road agency, and Michael Kramer came to our meeting yesterday. He came and said that this is the position of the toll road agency. The reason my subcommittee shot it down was we don't have an approved project. My concern was that if the 241 extension has been languishing for 16 years. There's only 2 real threads that it's holding on to. One thread is we've got to move 14,000 households worth of residents from South County. The second one is the air quality management part. The challenge is right now is that by basically doing a paper trade, the toll road agency has given away its ability to use air quality mitigation to work with environmental groups. So now the environmental savings of continuing the 241, the environmental savings, the TCA gave that away. So, and what I'm trying to understand is, and as I said, the CEO, Michael Kramer, came in and spoke with us and he gave a report. I'm trying to understand what the TCA is thinking, because I think that the decision to say, don't worry about the South County for air quality, south part of 241, put it at the north part, they're basically saying, don't worry about it. I'm trying to think of what the TCA strategy is. Michael Kramer didn't really have an answer aside from compliance with air quality stuff. I need to understand what the strategy is from the TCA regarding giving up that hammer to continue forward with that. So that's why I'm bringing this up right now. And I didn't know if anybody had any insight. Dennis, have you heard anything about it? Okay. So Okay, well, I'll just go ahead and finish up my comments then. It did pass. I've already asked for the staff at TCA to give us a more detailed report. One of the other challenges was, while the toll road agency gave up this really good card that they were holding, we got no other options at OCTA to have something different. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to have the toll road agencies not give away a political card that they have. The challenge, one of the issues is the same environmental groups that want air quality mitigation are the ones that have spent 15 years fighting the 241 extension. So they're both the dispensers of pleasure and the dispensers of pain. And my worry is that what the Foothill has done by saying yes to this was they gave away one of their cards, and they gave it away in lieu of a project that has no traffic and revenue study, that has no funding mechanism, that has not been authorized by OCTA. That's why it failed in my committee. It's going to be up for discussion on Monday at OCTA, but this is a very, very serious issue, and I need to kind of understand what the goals are for TCA as far as where this is going. So that can be a question that's answered later, but it's a big concern.
What are the alternatives to get TCA to reverse? I mean, is there a...
Well, right now, that's a very good question. Right now, the only thing that the TCA could do is reverse itself. They'd have to do that at a regular meeting. But right now, I'd say that the possibility of this passing at OCTA right now is probably 50-50. The concern that we have, well, there's several of them. We were not advised until this came before my subcommittee. We were not advised that this was going on. So, and I've already admonished staff of both agencies that it should have happened much sooner. But right now, the Foothill Eastern is counting on a project that doesn't exist. So let me give you a hypothetical. When you build a road, like a toll road, you have to borrow money against it. And to do that, it's almost like a credit check. How many cars are going to go through, and how much debt can it support? Right now, that project is $200 million. If the revenue study says that it can only support $150 million in borrowing, where does the other $50 million come from? It's not going to come from OCTA because we're not the lead agency, and the commitment from the toll road agencies is that they would pay for the whole thing. So then we get to the case of the toll road agency is trying to commit OCTA to a project that's not funded. If it goes through, and then now we get into the air quality side, we could all be sued because we're not in compliance with air quality standards. So like I said, this is kind of a mess. And what the environmental groups is, they kind of leaned on the toll road agencies saying, oh, just swap the 241 extension. And by the way, I have not heard anything that the 241 extension was anywhere near being approved. In fact, in Michael Creeman's letter, it says that we still have the hurdles for approval with the San Diego watershed and another environmental agency. So it's not even close to being done. It's probably at the same place it was 10 or 15 years ago. So it's not looking that good, and I'm worried that a card has been given away by the toll road agencies, and I want to figure out why, because right now OCTA is kind of on the hook to make a decision on this. So,
Now, I was surprised when it was a done deal because I haven't heard anything either. Wendy Buckman, followed by Ed.
Thank you, Frank, for sharing this. And I have to believe that the TCA would not want to give away any kind of political leverage that they would have to complete that extension in some way, shape, or form. That is so very important to Mission Viejo. So I would be really interested to hear what the staff reports back, and to the point where it's important for this city, it would actually be would it be worthwhile to have something here?
You know, that's yes. In fact, what I'll do is I'll make a request that my staff will come to the next meeting. When we talked to the CEO of the toll road agencies, he was very nice, very direct. He answered all the questions, but it's kind of interesting that something that has a $200 million impact for the region didn't come to us. I mean, I got it over the weekend, and I chair the committee that this goes through. So it was really kind of last minute stuff. And here's what my commitment. What I'm going to ask staff to do, and maybe Greg, you can do it on your side too. I'm going to ask staff if we can hold off on this decision, don't have to jump into it, and can fully vet it out. Because what happened on yesterday was I mean, although my staff understood it, there were 7 directors, OCT, that had no idea what was going on. And I already admonished our staff. Our staff should have briefed us better on this. But I take a look at this. I'm not, if anybody ever wants the 241 to be completed, the 241 is being held up by environmental groups. They've been playing with us for 15 years. Mm-hmm. If the only carrot that we have is that this is going to help the region, and this is one of the things I brought up also, the concern if we don't have a qualified air quality program in place is that we may lose federal dollars. Why do I not worry about that? Because it's federal dollars for 6 agencies, or 6 regions. It's Ventura County, Imperial County, Riverside, Orange County, LA, and one other, I can't remember. Right now, none of these other counties feel our pain. If we would just stand up and tell them, forget it, we're not going to go and have the environmental groups now have us get rid of our mitigation. I would like Imperial and Ventura County to feel our pain here in South County. Mm-hmm. By giving away this card, they don't have it. And I apologize, but since this is so recent to me, I haven't had a chance to get a lot of information from my staff or from the toll agencies, but I'll be working on it between now and the next time we get to it. The next OCT meeting is on Monday. Right now, the plan is for this to be discussed at that meeting. I'll try to find out if we have to push it forward, but regardless, I'll commit to getting my staff here on Monday after we come, or Tuesday after we come back from holiday, to give everybody an update. But if you have any people you can talk to, I've already reached out to a few people. I'd like to reach out to the South Orange County Economic Coalition. I'm very worried that the toll road agency did this because it seems like one of the 2 cards they have, they just gave away. So.
Well, I think we have somebody in the audience.
Oh. Well, before you go there, mm-hmm. With the council's pleasure, I've been somewhat involved in this, particularly with the environmental, and with your leave, I will carry Mr. Urie's spear on all of this. I mean, we're engaged on several environmental fronts on transportation matters, and sort of fits nicely, so we can.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Bill. Whatever you can find out. Thanks.
Oh yeah, be glad.
Okay.
And
that concludes. Oh.
Can we have some public?
No.
No.